everybody, it's Lydia here at Lydia's Leisurely Stitching. Today is Sunday, September 1st, and I'd like to welcome you all to my 42nd Flosstube video. Thank you for coming back to hang out with me, and if you're new, special thank you for coming and checking out my channel. I hope you see something you like and find a reason to subscribe and come back again. So today I have something very special. I have 2 finishes, which brings my grand total for the year up to 3 finishes. Neither of these projects I was planning on finishing this month. It just kind of happened that way. And so I'm excited to share them with you today. And in addition to that, I have 5 other whips to share. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into it. First one, I'll start with the finishes. First one, this is Yggdrasil or Celtic Knot Tree of Life, and this is from 2x2 Stitch Art on Etsy. And I'll put in a photo of where it was last time I showed it to you. And here it is now. So it is all finished. So this month, I worked on it for 2 days and did 1,770 stitches. And I think I filled in everything from here. Let's see if I can hold this with one hand. From here and here. So kind of a little less than a quarter of the stitches. And that was actually 15% of the total stitches. This had 11,330 stitches that I stitched. So the original pattern came with several borders around the outside to make it square, but I thought it would be fun to finish this in a circle frame and only do the tree because the tree is what I was most interested in. All the borders, they kind of seemed to subtract from the tree. So this is stitched on 32 count dark olive Lugana, 1/1, and the DMC 3862 I used. I wanted to use natural colors. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't planning on finishing this, but with my new rotation, I'm working on my non-full coverage pieces on the weekend, and at the start of the month, I think I had 5 non-full coverage pieces, and there were 5 weekends in August. So one of the weekends got devoted to this, and just turned out that that's all it needed to finish it. I wish I could tell you the number of days it took me to do this, but my files from last year are corrupted, which is a big bummer because I wanted to, compare the data from last year to this year. But yeah, that's my Yggdrasil. And then my second finish, I finished this yesterday. This is Skating Pond from Mill Hill, and I'll put in a picture of what it looks like when it's done. Where is it? It's this one. And a picture of what it looked like last time. So the Mill Hills, they come with perforated paper, and I've decided to stitch them on Lugana instead. And here it is now. So this one, I stitched on for 9 days. It ended up getting 2 of the 5 weekends in August. And I did 2,176 stitches. Of those, let me just move this over. 876 were beads. So this took me 5 days, and I did 68% of the piece. There were 3,191 total stitches and beads in the project. So last time I showed it to you, I had these 3 trees and the houses. So since then I stitched, and did I have the skaters stitched? I'm not sure. I don't think I had the skaters stitched. So I stitched the skaters, all the snow, and these two trees. And then I did the beading. And I think I'll put in a picture too of what it looked like before I did the beading, because the beading really filled it out. The skaters were kind of sparse before I did the beads. Let's see if we can you see the beads, the red and gold beads on the lady, blue beads on the man. And there's lots of beads in the snow. I want to show you something that I found interesting. So in the snow, it uses a combination of white beads and clear beads. And this is the third one from the Mill Hill Christmas Village series that I've done. So that's all of them together. So it's interesting because this one, the carolers, used clear beads for the snow, whereas the bookseller on the bottom used white beads. So I thought it was interesting that this one used both. So yeah, 5 days to finish that up. Looks good. So you might remember my goal in July was to start and finish this. So I started it in July, and I didn't finish it, but I finished it in August, and I think that's close enough. So those are my two finishes. Feels really good to have them done. I'm planning a new start sometime in the future. And I want that new start to be my oldest whip. Because a lot of the challenges, they ask you to stitch on your oldest whip. And the new start, I guess I can put in, because that's kind of getting into plans, isn't it? Well, I'll put in a picture. The new start is Once Upon a Fairy Tale. It's a Haid. This is one by Jenna Della Cottaglia Maldonado. It's not the Amy Stewart one, it's different. And it's got 455,000 stitches in it. So this will be my largest project ever. And so it's gonna need all of the attention it can get. So I'm kind of trying to work down my whips so that when that one gets started, it'll be closer to being the oldest whip. I have 3 full coverages on the go right now. One of them will be finished in October, and then the other 2 I'm hoping to make good progress on. One of them I'm trying to get to 33% by the end of the year, and the other I'm trying to get to 50% by the end of the year. So they'll have good progress on them, and hopefully won't be sticking around for too long. So I guess we'll get into my other whips, things that I have not finished yet. And I think the first one I'll show you is Merm-animals. This is by Lifted Spirits on Etsy. And where is it? And I'll put in a picture of where it was last time I showed it to you. And here it is now. So since the last time I showed this to you, I think I finished the black outline, and then I started filling in the colors. So this has had 578 stitches over 3 days. And this is stitched 2/2 on 32 count Lugana in Waxing Moon from Fabric Flare. And I just got lucky that it fit perfectly into this little scrap of fabric that I had. I'm stitching this for my sister. She has a cat that has a mermaid costume, and so she asked me to stitch this to celebrate him. The only thing is that she asked me to change the cat. The cat in the pattern is not a tabby cat, and hers is an orange tabby, and so she wants me to put some of his markings on there. And so I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. That's going to be a challenge. Changing the pattern is not something that I'm comfortable doing, but we'll figure it out. Yep. Okay, the next one, this is Celebrate Summer. It's by Madame Chantilly, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. I'm stitching this 2/2 on 28 count Lugana. This is Rainy Day by Atomic Ranch Fabrics, and this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. And here it is now. So since the last time I showed this to you, I worked on it for 3 days and did 966 stitches. So I finished the sandcastle. I did the red flag above the sandcastle, these red and green flowers and leaves. I worked in the gray tier tray, the white stars, and started on those blue flowers that will be the first thing on the third tray. I'm loving how this one's turning out. It's so much fun to work on, and I really enjoy the fabric. It's nice and soft, it stitches up beautifully. I love those colors, they just look so good together. She did such a great job charting this. Yep, so that's Celebrate Summer. And then we have my last non-full coverage whip. So this is the Fungi Book SAL, and this is a preview of what the exterior will look like. So this is stitched on 2 different pieces of fabric. And I'll show you a picture of what this looked like at the beginning of the month. I think I might have stitched on this before I filmed last time, so you might have already seen this. This is the cover of the book, and this is stitched on 18 count aida, and so I worked on filling in the front cover of the book there. So this has had 1,029 stitches over 5 days, so I think I spent 3 days working on the cover at the beginning of the month, and then the pages that will be inside the book, they're stitched on a different fabric. They're stitched on 32 count fabric. She calls for linen, but I prefer even weave, so I've done this on, I think it's lamb's wool, 32 count. And I did this over 2 days. It's not much stitching, but I gridded the 8 pages that will be inside the book. And I wanted to start one of the pages last night, but it was just so intimidating. So the pages of the book are kind of fiddly. I'm used to doing so much full coverage stitching that I'm not really used to fiddly stitching. So yeah, I'm a little intimidated. Kelly over at Animal Instincts, I think she's also working on one of the books, and she said that she was going to try and do 2 pages a month until the end of the year, because there's 8 pages total and 4 months left in the year. I think that's a good idea, and I might try to do that. I need a little bit of a push to get going on those pages because I am hesitant to start them. So I think I might try that, to do 2 pages a month until the end of the year. Yeah, it's not something that I'm used to doing, and so it'll take me a little bit to get into the groove with those, I think. And then we've got 2 pieces left, and they're my full coverage pieces. we'll start with a place of her own. I worked on this for 7 days, and this is a picture of what it'll look like when it's finished. This is stitched on 18 count aida, but unlike that crinkly aida, this aida I've been working on for 10 years, so it's lost all of its starchiness. Yeah, let's see. And this is a picture of what it looks like last time. This is artwork by James Christensen, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And here's the corner that I've been working in. So since last time, I did 2,702 stitches, and I'm currently sitting at 98.86% complete. So there are 3,680 stitches left to do. Last month I told you that I was going to work on this for 1,500 stitches a week for 2 weeks. I ended up only working on it 1 week, but I did get almost 3,000 stitches. So I'm going to try and do the bulk of the remaining 3,500 stitches this month, and then I'll finish it up in October when I go to retreat. So that's all that's left. I finished pulling the rug over to the edge of the page, and then I worked on filling in the black and brown underneath the rug. Most of this up here is black, and so I'm wanting to do the hardest stitching first, so I'm saving that black until last. I still need to figure out how I'm going to sign this piece. I definitely want to put my initials on it. I might put my full last name, but I need an alphabet, and I don't want it to be too big. But on 18 count, everything looks kind of big, so I don't know. I'll go ahead and show you the whole thing because there's only 2 or 3 more chances to share this with you until it's done, or including when it's done. Hopefully you're not getting tired of seeing this. Green curtain, music, tapestry in the background, lady reading, Grimbert panting, fish, wallpaper, map, dress, cushions, books, more books, lots and lots of books, and then the end. So that's a place of her own. And I think again I'll try and spend 2 Monday through Fridays working on it so that I can get it one step closer to the finish. Then we come to my last whip. So this one is Ornament Log Cabin Home. This is a picture of what it'll look like when it's finished. Excuse me. This is artwork by Dominic Davison, and this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. I'm stitching this on 25 count Lugana 1/1. Let's see if I can get this all on board. And here it is now. So I've been working over here this year. Since last time I did 6,206 stitches. That's a lot. I've just been filling in slowly and steadily. These stitches here are at the halfway point. So I'm gonna try and get everything. This is the edge of the roof. So I'm gonna try and get everything filled in to the 25% mark. And I worked on this for 16 days. So instead of getting 2 Monday through Fridays, it got an extra Monday through Friday. So my goal originally for this piece was to do about 10,000 stitches this year. I've gone over and above that. I've done 20,284 stitches on it so far this year. And I made a stretch goal to get it to 33% by the end of the year. And I only need 5,000 more stitches to get it to the 33%. So I'm thinking that I'll easily be able to accomplish that. I'm trying to get 1,500 stitches a week in a Monday through Friday period. So 3,000 this month and then another 3,000 in October will see me meet 33% goal. Yeah, I've been trying to decide what I want to do with this one for next year. I think it would be cool to try and get it to 66%. I'm not sure how feasible that is. I mean, it's definitely possible to do. The only thing is that I'm going to be starting that Once Upon a Fairy Tale, and I'd like to get 45,000 stitches into that one next year to get it to 10%. And then 33,000 on this one to get it to another 33%. That's 78,000 stitches. I think I could do that in a year. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how many stitches I end up getting this year. Yeah. So this is looking good. Happy with that. So yeah, I think I said everything I needed to say about that. Yeah, so my plans for the month are to do another 2 weeks on this one and 2 weeks on A Place of Her Own, and then on the weekends stitch on my non-full coverage pieces. So that really worked out well in the month of August. So for August, I did 9,383 full coverage stitches, and I did a total of 15,902 stitches. And that is just bonkers to me. Like I said, I was trying to get 1,500 full coverage stitches a week, so that would be 6,000 stitches. So I did 3,000 more than that. And then when I was looking at my spreadsheet, I thought that 9,000 stitches was my total stitches for the month. I didn't realize that was just the full coverage stitches. So on top of that, I did another 7,000. Can you believe that? 7,000 non-full coverage stitches. I really can't believe that. Like, I don't know where they all went. I guess I was trying to get about 1,000 stitches on each of the non-full coverage pieces in a weekend. Yeah, I'm just like blown out of the water by that. That's not what I'm used to at all. And so I think that this rotation of working on the full coverage during the week and then working on the non-full coverage during the weekends is really working for me. So I'm going to try and keep it up for the month of September. I will say that I did have a little bit more stitching time in August than I usually do. I think I mentioned in my last video that I was in the hospital for a week. So I ended up needing surgery. So I had surgery last week, and because of that I was out of work for a week, and so I think that really contributed to getting a large number of full coverage stitches done. But I also think that the variety of I think I was kind of slogging through my stitches before when I was solely focused on getting my stitches in on A Place of Her Own. And then I would work on that for like 15 days straight, beginning of the month. So I think having a little weekend break has been really good for me to kind of reset and then come back to it with fresh eyes. So yeah, I'm really happy with my progress in August, and I'll see you at the end of September and the beginning of October. Thanks so much for coming by and hanging out with me. I know that I'm a little bit different. A lot of Flosstubers have a lot more projects than I do. I don't know if I've seen any Flosstubers that have as few projects as I do. So, thank you all that have subscribed and that enjoy seeing my work, even though it's only on a few whips. I do like to think that I make good progress on each of my whips. And yeah, like I want to make sure that I actually finish these full coverage pieces. I don't want them sticking around for forever. So yeah, I really appreciate all of you watching, all of your comments. They always bring a smile to my face. And yeah, so thank you. Thanks for spending time with me. And I'll see you in a month. Bye, everyone.